This is for class 9. The chapter name is The Fundamental Unit of Life, the Cell. We already know what is a cell wall. A cell wall lies outside the plasma membrane. It is very rigid in nature. We also know that it is permeable in nature. That is, it allows both solute and solvent particles to move in and out of the cell. This cell wall is present in bacteria, plants, and in fungi. In plants, this cell wall is made up of cellulose, which is nothing but a complex carbohydrate, a chain of complex carbohydrate. In fungi, this cell wall is made up of chitin, CHITIN. This chitin is nothing but again a chain of complex carbohydrate. Now, what is the main function of this cell wall? The main function of cell wall is protection. That is, protection from mechanical injuries and entry of germs. So that is the main function of cell wall, and it lies outside the plasma membrane. This cell wall is absent in animal cells. Now, this much information we have about cell wall. Now, in your course, one activity regarding this cell wall is given. Let's try to understand this activity. Before we continue with the activity, we must revise what is osmosis, right? That is movement of solvent molecules, that is osmosis. Then the three types of solution, that is hypotonic solution, isotonic solution, and hypertonic solution. In hypotonic solution, external solution has more water content as compared to the cell contents, right? Due to which water moves inside the cell, and due to which swelling of cells takes place, and these swollen up cells are called as turgid cells, right? If we talk about plant cells, then the plant cells do not burst. Why? Because there is a presence of cell wall in plant cells, which prevents the plant cells from bursting. Whereas in animal cells, if excessive water moves inside the cell, it results in bursting of cells, and that process is called as crenation, right? That we know. Then then what is isotonic solution? Isotonic solution is nothing but where the external solution has same water concentration as compared to inside of the cell. So the concentration remains same. So there is no net movement of water molecules, and the size of cell also remains the same. There is no swelling also. There is no shrinking also. Whereas in hypertonic solution, external solution has less water content as compared to inside of cell. So water moves out of the cell. That process is called as exosmosis. Whereas in hypotonic solution, the process is called as endosmosis, right? In exosmosis, as water moves out of the cell, it causes shrinking of cell, right? So the same thing which we are going to study in this activity, right? And that process is called as plasmolysis. Now let's try to understand what is plasmolysis and deplasmolysis. Now let's start the activity. What we have to do, we have to take a Rio leaf. Rio leaf is nothing but a purple colored leaf. From that leaf, we have to take a thin peel, just like we have done while studying plant cells or animal cells, right? So same process we have to do. Take a thin peel from the Rio leaf, right? Then mount the peel, thin peel, in a drop of water on a clean glass slide. We have to make a slide of it, okay? And we have to put that specimen on the drop of water or in a drop of water, and then we have to study it under a high power of microscope. So what do we observe? Just see this diagram. These are nothing but, as it is a Rio leaf, means it is a plant cell, right? So plant cells have cell wall, right? Then this outside, this is nothing but a cell wall, dark line. Then inside that, this is nothing but a plasma membrane, this is nothing but a nucleus, and these are nothing but chloroplasts or plastids. Okay, green colored plastids. So they are nothing but chloroplasts in which chlorophyll pigment is present. Now when we observe this specimen under a microscope, what do we observe? Leaf peel contains green colored granules called chloroplasts. So you can see in this diagram, these are nothing but the chloroplasts which are present in this leaf. Even though the color of this Rio leaf is purple, it means what? Purple color is because of one type of plastids which are called as chromoplasts. Okay, so actually there are three types of plastids present. One is chloroplast, one is chromoplast, and the third is leucoplast. The green colored plastids are nothing but chloroplasts in which chlorophyll pigment is present. The other than green colored plastids, if they are present, then they are called as chromoplast. Chroma is nothing but colors. Okay, so purple color. Why purple color of the leaf? Because chromoplasts, right? The different colored plastids, they are dominating. It doesn't mean that chloroplasts are absent in the leaf. They are present, which are responsible for photosynthesis, but the other colored plastids are dominating. That is why we don't see green color over there. We see purple color over there or violet color over there. Okay, so definitely chloroplasts are present in the leaf, and these granules are nothing but of chloroplasts in which chlorophyll pigment is present. Okay, so when we put this specimen in water, what do we observe? We observe that endosmosis takes place. Endosmosis means what? As we are putting the specimen in a drop of water, there is net movement of water particles from outside to inside the cell, right? As it is nothing but a hypotonic solution, right? So endosmosis takes place, and these cells, these plant cells, start swelling up. Okay, so these swollen up cells are called as turgid cells. Now what next we have to do? Now put a strong solution of sugar or salt on the mounted leaf peel on the slide. Then what we have to do on the same slide, we have to put strong solution, that is hypertonic solution of either sugar or salt. So what happens in hypertonic solution? There is net movement of water molecules outside the cell, and that process is called as exosmosis, right? Then after putting the solution, this the cell in hypertonic solution, we have to wait and again observe it under a high power of microscope. Then what is the observation? So you can see from this diagram, see the size or the cell wall is intact. Okay, the cell walls are intact, but what happens to the plasma membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus? You can see in this diagram that the cell contents, that is, except the cell wall, everything inside the cell has changed, right? So the cell contents, which consist of the plasma membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, then other cell organelles, everything has come on one side of the cell wall. You can just observe this cell or this cell or this cell. Okay, so here cell wall is intact. As we already know that cell wall is rigid in nature. Okay, it doesn't have any elasticity, so there is no change in its shape also. It has as it is very much rigid. Okay, but if we see the cell contents, they have come on one side of the cell wall, and the rest of the space inside the cell has become empty space. Okay, so we shall observe that the cell contents are separated from the cell wall. Just see, cell contents are separated from the cell wall, that is the cytoplasm along with plasma membrane has come to lie on one side of the cell wall, and there is empty space formed in between. Okay, then in this condition exosmosis takes place. Why exosmosis takes place? Because we have kept the plant cell in hypertonic solution, and we know that in hypertonic solution the water moves outside the cell. That is why the cell contents shrink in size. Okay, and this condition is known as plasmolysis, and the cell is called as plasmolyzed cells. So these are the plasmolyzed cells. Now next, what we have to do? Okay, now what we have to do next is, now again take rheolleaf and boil the leaves in water for some time. Okay, so due to boiling, what happens? All the cells gets killed. Okay, then again the same process we have to repeat. That is, we have to make the specimen. We just take out a small peel from the leaf. From this, now the leaf is a dead leaf, okay, as we have boiled it. Okay, so all the cells are dead cells. So again take a specimen from the dead leaf. Okay, then mount it on a slide and put a drop of water on it and wait for some time, and again observe under a microscope, right? So what do we observe? Water does not move inside the cell. Okay, no endosmosis takes place. There is no swelling of cells. Okay, so it remains as it is. Then what we have to do? We have to put a strong solution of sugar or salt on the mounted leaf on the same specimen, right? Then again wait for a minute and again observe it under a microscope. Then what do we see? Even though we are putting the specimen in a hypertonic solution, nothing happens. The water particles does not move out of the cell. Okay, so in short, we can say that this plasmolysis process, that is shrinking of leaf or the specimen, when we are putting the specimen in a hypertonic solution, happens only in living cells. This endosmosis, exosmosis happens in only living cells and not in dead cells. Right? It means that even when once the leaf is dead, once the cells are dead, in any solution you just keep the specimen, nothing is going to happen. No net movement of water molecules will take place. Neither endosmosis nor exosmosis will take place. Okay, now let's, as we are thorough with the activity now, let's see what is plasmolysis and deplasmolysis. Okay, plasmolysis. If a plant cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, either sugar or salt solution, right, then water from the cytoplasm flows out due to exosmosis. This we know. In living cells this happens. Okay, when we are putting the plant cell in hypertonic solution, then water moves outside the cell due to exosmosis. This causes contraction of the protoplasm of cell, due to which the cell contents shrink in size, or the cell other than the cell wall is intact, but the inner contents of the cell shrink in size. Ultimately, protoplasm separates from the cell wall and assumes spherical shape. So it is very much clear from this diagram. Initially, just see, this is the target cell, the cell which has absorbed considerable amount of water. Okay. Then what happens? We are putting this cell, this target cell, in hypertonic solution. So what happens? As the cell is dipped in hypertonic solution, so the water starts moving out of the cell. So it slowly it becomes like this. Then more water moves out, so it becomes like this. Then more water moves outside the cell, so it attains a spherical shape and comes on one side of the cell wall, and an empty space is created in between. So this space does not remain empty actually. This space is occupied by the water which comes out of the cell plus the hypertonic solution in which the cell has been placed. So that space is occupied by the mixture of these two solutions. Okay, then this condition is known as this. When the protoplasm attains a spherical shape, this condition is called as plasmolysis. So plasmolysis happens when the cell is placed in hypertonic solution. Net result is exosmosis, and that cell is called as plasmolysed cell. Okay. During plasmolysis, cell wall does not shrink. We already know this. Cell wall is rigid in nature, right? And it is dead also. It is not a living part. Okay, cell wall. It is permeable also. Permeable means it allows all the solute and solvent particles to move in and out of the cell. The space between protoplasm and cell wall is occupied by external solution, that is external hypertonic solution plus water, which comes out of protoplasm. So that liquid, that solution is present in this space. Okay. Now, just opposite to plasmolysis is nothing but deplasmolysis. If plasmolysed cell, if now this cell which is shrunk, okay, which is reduced in size, okay, the protoplasm has reduced in size due to the presence of hypertonic solution, then what happens? If plasmolysed cell is placed in water or any hypotonic solution, we know what is hypotonic solution, okay? External solution has more water content as compared to inside of cell, that is hypotonic solution. Then what happens? Water enters into the cell due to endosmosis. So what will happen due to hypotonic solution? From where to where the water particles will move? They will move inside the cell. Okay, and due to which this protoplasm starts increasing in size. So from this stage it will gain this stage, from here it will gain this stage, more water absorption, it will become like this. Okay, like a turgid cell. The protoplasm then attains its original shape and form. So it will become like this again, deplasmolysed cell. This condition is known as deplasmolysis. So just opposite to plasmolysis is deplasmolysis. For plasmolysis, we have to keep the cell in hypertonic solution. For deplasmolysis, we have to keep the plasmolysed cell in hypotonic solution so that the water starts moving inside the cell, and the plasmolysed cell again attains the normal or original shape. Thank you.